Dichara played it as probably as much or even more than General in the offlane, so both teams are super flexible. Both teams have amazing Enchantress players. I don't feel like either team is very hero pool limited.
Yeah.
Do you feel like both teams also have like the same type of role distribution in terms of their offlaner is the one to make the plays, is the initiator, is the one to create the tempo of the game, in combination with Mipashka/Artstyle Enchantress perhaps as well, or any other jungler/ roaming hero?
I think General actually, he helps create more space, I would say, for Na'Vi in general than... Wow, okay, I didn't actually mean to make that pun, but I did. But Empire, I don't think they're as reliant on their offlaner doing so much. It's just the heroes that they give General typically allow him to kind of create that space. And the Bat Rider is probably the most notable of all of them, but not going to see that here first picked up by Na'Vi as they're going to get their hands on the Prophet. And the response is just going to be the immediate Beastmaster here from Empire. Truthfully, from what I've seen at a Beastmaster so far, I have a tendency to favor that hero more than I have Prophet, unless you're opening up with like the Lich that we saw the other day get really hard punished by Furion. And that's the one time where I would say I would probably prefer it to a Beastmaster opening.
Vision's just been so key in so many of these
games.
Exactly. Like that was where we had the Beastmaster versus Night Stalker game, and that to me was one of the most interesting strategic games because both teams have these huge Vision heroes and how they play against each other. So
that game was really bizarre too because it was Afterlife playing Night Stalker, right? And he was just like farming like the whole game. And I think at one point they had like 3 gems or something, and they were just trying to constrict map control away. It was really strange. But that was the only NS that we've seen, correct? There's only been one.
And it was a core.
Yeah.
So if you're thinking about having a core again as a Night Stalker, I believe that the ship has sailed. We have already Beastmaster.
Oh, definitely not from these teams. Support maybe, but not core.
What's Na'Vi going to do for their vision though? Because so far, look at the vision that Team Empire have. It's Beastmaster, Bounty Hunter. The dream is real.
I mean, Na'Vi will look to probably just play fighting and get map control through winning the early to mid game.
Yeah.
Okay.
You can also push already. I mean, you have Fury and Venge.
Yep.
It's not so hard to fight.
And Treants give you some vision at least, so you can use it to scout out Roshan, scout areas on the map. Everyone's got scan now. That's your vision. Who needs vision heroes?
Dude, you watched yesterday. If you go over and look at them, and you have so many scans just all over the place, like missing. They're like, oh, I think they might be a Roshan. I think they're coming this way. It's like 1 in every 4 scans.
It was good because the game I did obsing one game and I actually saw like a few scans in a row. Like, oh, they found heroes. Like,
sometimes they do.
But it's like it doesn't only gives you limited information because you don't know how many heroes, you don't know which hero.
Yeah. There's a lot of deducing you need to do to understand like what that actually tells you in a lot of games.
Yeah.
It's like, are they smoked? Are they trying to go for Roshan? Or are they baiting? You know, there's so many things that you can think about. But second phase bans here coming in from Na'Vi. Pretty standard stuff when you open up with like Beast, Bounty. You don't want to give away Puck or Queen. I want to say those 2 bans in the second phase have been some of the most common, if not the most common bans so far.
And against Empire especially.
Yeah,
it's like they're Scandal's heroes.
Because not only that, but it's because if you look at the way that teams are opening nowadays, no one picks mid in the first 2, really. Like, there's no more OD, there's no more Invoker high priority, so we transitioned out of the mid and position 1 and 2 heroes back to, like, the offlane/support. And that just means that typically you're either going to be worried about dealing with push from Na'Vi, so that's why you ban Lycan, and obviously Dichara is great at it, or you just ban mid heroes.
Yeah, I feel like the bans on the side of Empire are also very standard bans against Na'Vi in specific.
Of course, yeah.
You got yourself the Lycan and the Drow. You already have the Venge for the Aura strat that Na'Vi does like to go for.
Yeah.
In combination with this, though, they have also often ran Windranger, Mirana. As in Dichara, Mirana, then the Windranger.
I think the Mirana carry can be a bit of a trap at times. That hero is like nowhere near, not to say they're not going to pick it, but it's very much like they would have preferred a Drow Ranger or the Lycan.
Yes, of course.
That's what Empire's scared of. They're like, we've got this vision advantage. Like, what do you do if you're against that? You just have this unstoppable pushing power. So they're trying to protect themselves from the push.
I also think it's not quite as valuable against Bounty because you lose a lot of effectiveness of Moonlight Shadow. And team fights at least, because if you throw a couple of tracks out, you're not going to force them to buy as much detection. Like, sure, you might want sentries still, but it's a little bit trickier, I think. But then again, you do have the Venjora plus Mirana Leap attack speed. We've seen that combination in the past. They like to abuse it. When Dichara plays Mirana, he doesn't even max arrow. He only gets 1 arrow, max leap, and stats. So it's a little bit of a different approach. And it is quite difficult, actually, for Empire to get on a target like Mirana unless you commit the roar. So it's not a bad pick. I think they just want to maybe wait a little bit longer until they pick the safe lane.
So what do you reckon here? What's Na'Vi thinking?
Dendi
hero is Invoker.
That's to suggest Windranger just because their mid pull it was starting to look fairly limited, but they go Invoker instead.
Yeah.
So
Scandal goes Windranger.
Do you go Quas Wex then? Because that's kind of been the go-to for most of these Invokers so far. I mean, it's not too bad. I think it's better dealing with Bounty being Quas Wex than it is being like Exort, for example. Because if you get a couple of levels and you Tornado EMP the Bounty, he doesn't have any mana left, and he can't really do anything anymore.
It depends on their game plan, though, because they venge Nature's Prophet if they want to just push and take all the towers on the map, all the out towers by 20 minutes, and you go Exort. If they're wanting to play a little bit slower tempo and at least be out better at fighting rather than pushing, then you go Crosswex. So.
But I think kind of in line with what you were saying, Exort is really good for the early game, but if you want to go a bit greedier with your safe lane, then Crosswex would probably also work. As seeing a
Witch
Void
Doctor
here.
Void.
Huh. So this is a safe lane Void, right? With Beastmaster?
It
I
almost
guess
looks to be
so.
the case, yeah. Carry Void. And this is the first time this tournament, actually.
Yep.
With the buffs that he has been given, somewhat buffs.
What were the buffs he got in the new patch?
Like his bash.
It's kind of like semi-buffs.
Yeah, it's a semi-buff because he doesn't do the extra damage anymore in the Chronosphere, but he does do more damage than he did before.
It's like 50 more damage at level 4.
Damage at level 4 with the bash, which is a lot.
Yeah. This is kind of what, like the time dilation also got nerfed a tiny bit, I think, in terms of cooldown.
Yeah, but I mean,
but
that's
the
still
time
gonna
walk
be
is
annoying.
also farther too. So like his initiation is better, his bash is more consistent outside his sphere, but his time dilation cooldown is longer, which kind of makes him transition back into position 1. Because time dilation is not as ridiculous, and now you actually need some farm, and the attack speed on the hero is better now because the bash is just not sphere reliant to be able
and
to
time
deal
dilation,
damage.
I mean, if you have one good one in a fight, that's all you need.
It's still good enough, yeah.
Yeah.
It's still good enough. Yeah, I'm excited to see how they run it. I do think it's position 1 though for sure. Maybe they go the Vanguard Radiance, who knows? I don't know what the build is honestly with that hero right now.
Still the Bat Rider.
Okay, so safe lane Fury.
Yeah, safe lane Fury and Dichira. This to me is Navi like, let's play fast tempo. We've got good pushing cores in Nature's Prophet and Invoker, and then Bat Rider's like your catch. So you can. It makes it really hard to defend towers against a Bat Rider because if he catches someone with Lasso, they get bursted down by an Invoker. I think with Bat Rider, it's more likely to be Exo Invoker now, or do you think Quaswex still works?
I think Quaswex is really good against Void, actually. I think Exort is worse against Void.
Absolutely.
The thing is, and I think the main reason why Empire picked Void there is because they don't have a tremendous amount of burst, and up until the bat, they had no catch almost. So Void is really hard for them to kill. But at the same time, you could also argue that early 5-man is probably better against Void because he doesn't really have the damage, and they only have one hero that's really good with the Chronosphere synergy, and that's Witch Doctor. Yeah. So I think Navi could still decide, hey, maybe we go back for like a Jug or something and just go 5-man with Healing Ward and just mow down all their towers. I think that is also... Oh, wait.
Oh, last pick, Earth Spirit. That's...
That's dirty.
No, it's really good. It's really good.
And there's some damage for the Chronosphere.
Okay.
Yeah, the Wind Ranger's all right. I like that.
I kind of feel like both teams kind of got what they wanted.
Yeah.
It seems like it's not a massive outdraft here, right?
Yep.
I think at a certain point in the game, Navi kind of want to try to end it. You know what I mean? Because I think they're going to have a really hard time dealing with Void.
Yeah, I give it slight edge to Navi, I think, based on draft, but...
Yeah, in the early game for sure.
Yeah.
But if it goes too long and they start losing team fights, like Empire, I think will probably...
What would you consider too long?
Maybe past like 25, 30 minutes. If they haven't done like a lot,
Yeah.
Like with Fury and Invoker, Bat, you want to control the map. You want to make sure you're getting all the out of your towers. You want to get your Roche. If they can't do all that, Empire, I think, have a late game.
So you got to name one.
Oh, God.
How long is it going to go?
Oh, God.
Yeah, I'm going to make you do it.
I think it's going to be like 35 minutes or more, and I think Empire will win.
Okay, God.
I'm going with Navi. I think they'll just win the early game.
Okay, it's a split panel here. It is time for our first game of the day. Empire versus Navi with AC and Ryu.
Greetings and salutations, Dota fans. The games roll on here in Kiev, and we're ready for day 3 of WePlay Season 3. And I'll tell you what, man, we picked a good one to lead the day off. The regional powerhouses, Empire and Navi, ready to square off. And honestly, this has to be one of the most highly anticipated matches we knew coming into this tournament could happen. Two teams very, very good, and Navi certainly on the upswing, looking to continue their momentum as we're ready to move into the game as we are moving forward. But go ahead and give me your thoughts as we see, everyone get in position to challenge for the runes. What do you think of the draft, and what are your initial thoughts as to how this is going to play out on both sides?
One quick thought is where's my crowd for Navi and Empire, guys? There we go. Get a little bit of love in the building here. But yeah, like you said, I feel like it was maybe in 5 hours. Hopefully we get a bigger crowd for this because it's going to be amazing. But first thoughts are Navi, this is kind of just their, bread and butter. I'm going to take all your words, AC, today. and then, yeah, they're just going to constantly run at you. Whereas Empire, yeah, they can kind of do the same, but I don't think they're going to be as fast tempoed as Navi, and so they're going to have to react a lot. And we're going to see if they can react in time.
Yeah, I mean, as we watch Navi's draft play itself out, it was pretty clear to see with the opening picks on Empire, the Bounty, the Beastmaster, the Witch Doctor, they wanted to fight and hang on. We're going to just take a look at Mipashka, see if he's going to be able to steal this rune. And nope, it's going to end up going to Wind Ranger and Invoker. So Dindy and Scandal get a good start. But yeah, I mean, this is going to be an action-packed game, and I want to have a brief conversation once we run through our lanes about that, about how, you know.
Oh, he just trapped it. Look, mid lane here over the range creep. He's caught it. This is going to help Dindy out in the mid lane. It's going to pull it back. So Invoker, he has a hard time sometimes against the Wind Ranger early on, but this is going to help out for his early CS.
Well, will be our mid lane matchup of Dindy versus Scandal. As you said, Dindy getting a little bit of help early on. For Na'Vi, moving across the board, it will be Seneko. He's hanging around mid here on the Earth Spirit, trying to help things out. Artstyle and Dityara are going to be down in bottom lane, farming up and trying to zone out Empire's Afterlife on the Void. And up at top, we'll see Mipashka and King R doing their best to just farm up with Ramses, while General, who has been a standout on this Bad Rider, will be doing his best from Na'Vi. Continuing on through, as we said, King R up there on the Witch Doctor, Mipashka continuing to roam. But let's talk about Afterlife out on this Void right now. This is going to be, in theory, a pretty rough lane, but so far he's at least getting experience. Is taking a lot of damage. We'll have to go ahead and use the Time Walk to get back to safety.
Yeah, and I'm just so amazed at what Seneco's doing. He's just like pulling these range creeps in constantly. I mean, he has to sit here as the Earth Spirit because Dindy can't get run over by the Bounty Hunter plus the Wind Ranger roam. So it's nice seeing him kind of in this situation where he's babysitting and like going to touch base back with the Void here. Yeah, he should still be able to get a lot from the lane. Oh, Dindy getting harassed a lot in the mid.
Yeah, he's actually getting pretty low. And we'll be able to sit back and regen, but you know, again, it's just going to be a battleground. Dual mids up against each other.
So we have, going back to the bottom lane now, with Afterlife trying to touch on that a little bit more. They're going to try and shut down Afterlife, but it's really hard when Ditya's not even summoning his trees at all. Like, that's how you pressure a Void out of lane. You constantly put the treants on him, but he's not doing it. I think he's just saving for like a really aggressive play maybe on the mid lane, and they want to push something early. I'm not exactly sure, because Afterlife was able to farm up his 4-man shield now, and he's just going to be all tanky, and now you can't do anything to really zone out the Void.
Well, in mid, as you mentioned, I mean, it should be a volatile lane. We're seeing the Bounty Hunter duck in the lane, but he's also bailing out from time to time. But without a doubt, it's Scandal who's coming out on top. He's near the top, actually on the top now in CS. He's at 14-8 up against Dindy's 10-1. But more importantly, level-wise, Dindy sitting at just short of level 2. And meanwhile, Scandal's already level 3.5. Mipashka, though, the one suffering there is he's not getting a whole lot done. We actually see Afterlife very aggressively pursuing Artstyle all the way back towards the tier 2, but unable to finish the job.
Meanwhile, there's poking and prodding on General. He's got the malediction on him.
Yep, Nature's Prophet. There's the aggressive play you were talking about, my friend. The Prophet jumping in the lane and killing off the Courier. I didn't see if it happened to have. It did have a bottle on it, so that's going to be Scandal's bottle taken away. That's a pretty big deal at this stage of the game.
Yep. That's, yeah, like you said, really big deal. Normally you see the Bounty Hunters getting all the kills, but nope, get some love back for the Furion here. And I'm trying to think of how this mid lane is working out now for Seneko. Normally he wanted to have that boulder roll in, having a poison orb, but he didn't go for that to really harass the Wind Ranger. And I guess it's kind of paid off, right? So at least he's level 3 now in the Earth Spirit. He's not falling behind, but you're soaking a lot of Dindy's EXP. That's my biggest concern for an Invoker. So he's only level 3 on Dindy. That's not good.
Well, compared to a lot of the games we've seen so far here at WePlay, has been relatively quiet. The only casualty on the field, the Dire Courier. Again, a big casualty, but for the most part, Scandal rolling with the punches, sitting at 21 CS despite the harass. Now Earth Spirit engages in bottom, and he's going to draw first blood as Dityara being helped out by Seneko, getting Na'Vi onto the board first.
Radiant's top tower is
Good
under
rotation
attack.
coming in, and they didn't even need the silence to kill him off. He was just playing really aggressive there. But we're going to have to see what happens now, because we've seen Mipashka not do anything in this game with the Bounty Hunter, and that's not good. You want to have at least some courier kills, maybe a kill on Dindy in the mid lane. He's rotated to the bottom lane here. Can he get pressure on Ditya? He has phase boots, so it's not going to work out.
I'm able to give him a little bit of harassment for the most part, still feeling fine. Seneco's making his way back to mid. Check in on General. Usually by this time, he's solo killed an enemy carry. Just what the guy does whenever he plays bad. But regardless, he's at level 4.5, so he's looking quite good. He is a full level behind Ramses. But now the engagement into mid. Scandal's in trouble. Vincere comes in, gets the Sprout, and now trying to block him in, and they are going to be able.
They also have Arstyle dying, and that's what I think the better trade in the mid, because now you get the push.
Yep, they're going to try to push off of that, as you had mentioned. And we can hear the crowd getting into the action a little bit here. The hometown heroes taking a little bit of early lead in terms of momentum. And in terms of gold, it's still, yeah, then it's going to be their lead as well. So it's very close, but this is kind of what I think we expected. And I expect this action to pick up here.
Oh, yeah. And we might have a little bit more action mid, but then he's just going to get poked. Yeah,
oh,
nice.
Shackle off the Forge Spirit. No way to convert, though. Just not enough time.
Yeah, you don't want to commit because they don't really have vision of who's behind for Navi's side, and they were kind of all just mid lane. So if you make that commitment and you dive and then you die, I feel like that's the tier 1 tower in the mid lane gone. So you have to be very careful. And General.
Yep, he ended up dropping there as well.
It was a good roar coming out from Ramses.
Yep.
The seeds of radiant structures are
2-2, 6 minutes in. 43 CS for Ramses on this Beastmaster, so he is getting huge in a hurry. And how do you see Empire in particular transition? I mean, when you look at Na'Vi, it's pretty easy to understand how they want to pressure. It is a Quas Exort look coming out of Dindy. But like, if you're Empire, knowing that Na'Vi has so much aggressive potential, is going to be happy to start taking team fights very soon. How do you gird yourself, and what's your overall game plan for the next 5 to 10 minutes?
Probably for what Ramses did, you know, go for these pickoffs, try to go around maybe with the Bounty Hunter too, and try to get some, you know, pickoffs with the hero, start getting those Necro books up, start getting the solo pickoffs, because that's what Empire are going to need to do. And they're just going to have to make space with their Beastmaster. Trying to figure out what they're going to do around the map. Afterlife is level 6 now, so they have the Chronosphere to work with. Not the best synergy with the Beastmaster, but it's decent synergy with the Rin Ranger, at least for the focus fire and whatnot.
Well, they have brought 3 now to mid. Seneco and Artstyle are both hanging back, either anticipating pressure or wanting to make a real run at Scandal. Try to get another pick there. Top tier 1 did drop, and they're continuing to farm very deep down that top lane. And let's see how patiently Na'Vi wants to play this. Those two have been there for a while. Empire's got 2 down here, Mipashka and Afterlife in the bottom lane, trying to make something happen. 8-minute rune will be up in 20 seconds. For now, the Scandal's going to go ahead and rotate.
Yeah, they got him. I think, that might have been the time to go. Although Scandal wasn't really close enough, and they needed extra hero, right? Bounty Hunter plus Void, you can't get any kills with that. But looks like they're going to do a tier 1 for tier 1 trade here. Nice scan going out too, but he just TP'd away.
Tier 1, like you said, being traded for tier 1 in mid. And overall, a pretty good effort from Na'Vi to make sure that they were able to just trade even when Empire had moved so many down to bottom. 2-2, go ahead. Up, roar, Seneco. Yeah. And let's see if he's going to be able to get away. Damage is too heavy. That's a Necro book already up on Ramses, so his item progression is huge. And, I mean, being able to get those picks is great, but is Empire looking to group soon, you think?
Well, they just need to get these pickoffs. Like, every time Roar is off cooldown, you want to go around. They have the Chronosphere to work with. I'm trying to figure out how they're going to get roached, right? Because they're on the Dire side. They want to get these pickoffs, and then they want to transition to get roached. So you still have the Necro 3s to work with. I'm curious to see what Afterlife will go for. Normally you go for that Vlad's Blink, and, you know, just to set up for having that extra sustain in team fights, the lifesteal. But as the panel was talking about, with maybe some of the buffers to face as Void, are we going to see Mask and Madness again? Because he has max time lock.
Right now, the tier 1 taking damage from Scandal. Empire looks like they are ready to group and take a fight using that Chronosphere, as you had mentioned. General, still short of his Blink Dagger.
They got the dust on. Oh, he juked him.
And, whoa, close. Close call, but Mipashka able to make it back to safety. But with Chronosphere ready to go, Roar's off cooldown in 4 seconds. Na'Vi have to decide if they want to take this fight. They do have Dindy split pushing at top.
I mean, I'm watching a one position Beastmaster do all the work this game when I thought Na'Vi might just, you know, steamroll over Empire, but and that's with Bounty Hunter doing absolutely nothing in the early game. So Ramses keeping his team, I'm not saying necessarily keeping his team, but basically carrying his team through this early game stage. Really nice play coming in from him.
10 minutes, Tome's bot, and General's Blink Dagger should be done basically now. Yeah, he's got the gold for us. He wants to buy it.
He is roared over here.
Yep. See if they can track him down. Shouldn't be that big of a problem. Sprouts himself in. Yep, gonna be able to chop on through as he has the Quelling Blade. So now with the Blink Dagger out on General, though, I think Ryu, they're gonna be much more willing to fight and try to get back a little bit of this lead they've given up.
Yep. But they just smoked under a ward, and I think if they get the skill on Scandal, it could be. Yeah, they still have the Nature's Prophet respawning in 10 seconds, so he can help get. Yeah, Scandal's obviously knows they had the ward scouting out the smoke. Just back off.
Well, General, I think, yeah, should have been spotted, has been spotted by this ward, so they know General has his blink. Not going to have a chance to surprise anyone here. Scan went down, it just barely. Nope, Ramses just walked into it, so they know somebody's down there. But, okay, with the blink up now, do you, like, how do you want to play this if you're not?
Na'Vi, they're going to have to hope they get a really good Batrider initiation or Earth Spirit, like getting some huge plays coming in from Seneko here. He's going to have to put his team on the back, I feel, in these team fights, just because all their heroes are really squishy. And that's a big problem when you have the Chronosphere, you have Ramses, I mean, already up to, did he go for the blink? Yeah, he went for the blink now.
Yep.
You can get solo pickoffs everywhere. So they don't have necessarily the tank or the sustain as Empire do right now coming in. So I want to see how Na'Vi are going to initiate, like you're talking about.
Na'Vi able to take the tier 1 top and then teleport back in time to save the tier 2. There's going to be a roar into the bat. General, though, again, there's going to be the swap from art style, but the Chronosphere is on point. Death Ward is on point as well. General not able to do much, and he will be picked off the bounce of the Shuriken toss. Now Seneko, one shot from dead, does end up dropping as well. 2-for-1 exchange so far. The Void hit the good sphere, but it ends up being 2 for 2 when all is said and done. Not a bad fight, I don't think, if you're Na'Vi. And yeah, when you look at the gold change, it did slightly favor Empire in gold, but slightly favoring Na'Vi in experience. So not a bad effort. And, you know, if it wasn't for the fact that the Beastmaster just so on point in the damage output and a really nice Chronosphere out of the faces for it.
Yeah, if Seneko didn't roll into the Chronosphere too, I think they would have handily won that team fight, because then he can make the roll-in play later and magnetize everybody. He wasn't able to get it off on everyone. He was only on one, and then he can make the silence play too coming out. So if that had happened, I'd see Na'Vi winning that team fight handily. But yeah, you see the power of Venge Swap. I mean, it just saves people, and then now what Empire did that was great is you have that follow-up Chrono. So they have 2 forms of initiation, so really well played there for Empire.
Well, the sad thing is it didn't save him. The Shuriken toss bounced him. Like, it's actually just really, I don't know. It's hard to call it bad luck. I mean, it's a part of the game, but he was just barely in range for it to bounce to him. Miposhka now moving into the jungle and trying to find himself a target. Ramses. And, you know, if we have a minute, it looks like we do. I was going to ask you about your thoughts on the slight variation in the build. Very often you'll see Beastmasters go straight book 3 and then the blink. And, it's, you know, we see it. It's not like it's uncommon or anything, but it is a little bit of a variation to stop at book 1 and then go with then go straight to blink. Like, do you think that's appropriate this game? What do you think the thought process is there?
Yeah, I kind of like it when you have this max inner beast and you're just doing a lot of right-click physical damage, and then you just immediately blink on somebody that's running or rotating around the map. And I think you need the blink dagger when you have a lot of mobile heroes, like with the Batrider, you have the Venge Swap. You just want to get in and try to get somebody as fast as you can. And it's kind of like the vision game too, right? So if you have the Hawk scouting out and you know that somebody might be waiting in the back lines, you might just go in the back lines and roar the Venge so they don't have the swap. Take that hero out, then you have a really good opportunity to set up a good Chrono then.
Yep. There was just a Sunstrike check into the Roche pit. They caught Afterlife, he time walked the damage away, but now Navi's converging. This could be big. General with his blink, he's going to take the sky, finds a target, finds Miposhka. He got shackled on the high ground. Now Seneko rolls in, though, gets off a phenomenal magnetize. Seneko. 2 down, and Empire just has to roll out They're hurting too much. Ditcheraw gets aggressive, shows up, and gets the Sprout onto the Beastmaster, who's then able to blink away before taking any damage. And buyback on this Witch Doctor. They really want to protect against this Roshan being taken out of that fight. But yes, like you said, my friend, Seneko rolling in had a phenomenal magnetize, and at that point, the battle was lost.
And that is why we still pick Earth Spirits, ladies and gentlemen. That hero is definitely very fun to play if you know how to, if you can do what he just did. But really well played there from Seneko. And like you said, protecting Roche against Na'Vi, they could just take it down, I think, pretty fast. Roche did get some buffs in this new patch here, so it is quite hard to kill him. And they don't necessarily have a medallion, but you do have the max level of Wave of Terror, so it could go down really fast, especially with those Forge Spirits. But with that buyback, are they going to be able to get it now?
Well, they took away Navi's vision. A couple of sentries were spent by Empire to try to make it a little harder for them to engage. Bad Rider still has 20 seconds. Cool down on his up. Here comes Sunstrike. They're going to know what's going on. Let's see how dedicated they're going to be to trying to fight it out. Bat, 10 seconds until he's ready to use Lasso again.
Dindy's got Pulse Snap onto Poshka. He's going to die at least. Wait, this is the nerf to Roche. This is what happens.
Oh, they're going to come in. There's going to be the roar to Seneko. Ramses gets out. There's a swap from Art Style. Ramses caught from the high ground. There's a zoning Death Ward from King R, and they do manage to get the Roche. It's going to be Scandal that picks up the Aegis. And even though it was a noble effort, they did get Miposhka, as you said, trying to go in dark there. Just not enough, and Ramses' power at this point. Oh, they caught Ditcheraw! Got him with the Chronosphere, trying to TP away. Shackle follows it up immediately. Great kill. And now if you're them, do you decide to push this tower, Ryu?
You don't necessarily have to do it just yet, just because you're... I would say just back out and farm right now, because they have cooldowns with their Roar and the Faces Void ulti, so you're just trying to go off and get pickoffs around the map, whereas Na'Vi, they can still have the buyback potential coming in from Nature's Prophet. That's always scary to fight into.
Right.
I want to go back a little bit there for the Roche fit fight. Bat Rider wasn't there. He used all of his mana to, split push lanes, go farm, so they really couldn't contest the Roche afterwards, but yeah, you just see how long it takes Roche to die now. I really do love that change.
It just makes Roche much more volatile. It's not the kind of thing where you can just get a pick and then you're guaranteed, especially at this stage of the game, to bring it down.
You can definitely still contest it because it takes a lot longer to kill it.
Yep. Miposhka right on top of Dindy will show himself, gets a track on. King R's coming over as well. Forge Spirit's doing too much damage. Looks like there won't be any follow-up.
And
Ramses finishing his book 3, so that's come out at a pretty good clip.
Speaking of heroes, Ramses is about to get a free roar.
There you go. General's there to turn it around, though.
Oh, General.
Flame break. Dindy may end up dropping, and he will. He got the rock off in the meantime. King R using the Death Ward, but he's got to move. Everyone from Empire is so damn low, and yes, the damage output from Ditcheraw showing itself. General helping chase down Miposhka. They're both tracked. Doesn't matter. Flame break on point. And Dindy, the only one to drop from Na'Vi, but a 1-for-3 trade, I think they'll take regardless of who they lose.
Yep.
Yeah, the crowd into it. No doubt about it. This crowd, while lacking in numbers, certainly not lacking in spirit.
Yep. That's just Empire trying to go for that solo kill and not expecting General to be there. That's just one of those moments you're like, oh crap, he was there at the perfect time, had a really nice flame break as well. Man, General is just such a damn good player, but Empire still have a lot of things going for them. They can still, you can see that. Like if General wasn't there, you get those free pickoffs around the map. That's what they need to continue to do. So Empire, let's look at them right now. Do they have any smokes to work with is the question for me. They have one in the base.
And one they just used.
Okay, so exactly.
Smoked up a couple, and oh, Courier! Courier got it again! Ditcheraw on point with the Courier snipes. And that just puts the onus more on Empire. If they're watching very closely, they may have seen this with a ping. Oh, not going to matter as they are going to find General. And 4 staff, not enough. A couple of right clicks will do it. Just doing 1 damage you can, trying to buy time. Did manage to kill the Hawk at least, I guess. But now I think might be the time, with the Aegis still up, but set to expire shortly, that Empire tries to push this tier 2.
Yeah, that's that's what I was saying. You have to smoke up and you have to continue applying pressure because Beastmaster Roar is a really low cooldown, only 75 seconds.
Yep.
So you can always have that up, and they're always going to be able to fight. And
counter push. Up there's going to Sphere. Chronosphere used. Artstyle swaps himself out. Scandal happy to take that. Deafening Blast catches through on the high ground, though. So buying a lot of time, and Scandal's actually taking a lot of damage from Forge Spirits. May even sack himself for the Aegis. Nah, just going to go ahead and hold on to it for now. They end up trading 2 for 1. Well, I guess 1 for 1 technically, as the bat was already down. But Empire able to take that tier 2, and I'm sure part of the plan now is going to be trying. Oh, Sunstrike, little off, was shooting for Scandal, didn't find him.
Still has Aegis to work with too for another minute, but that should be enough of the, I think, aggression coming out from Empire. They were playing so aggressive, but they had the Aegis and probably superior vision. Now it's nighttime, and now Beastmaster's not going to be as effective, and they don't have the Aegis to work with as well soon. So Na'Vi, now they can make plays for themselves. They can smoke up and maybe go around. They have...
Ooh, Scandal. Very close to being hit with the second Sunstrike attempt.
Where is their ward? Did they... I feel like, how are they getting vision?
Yeah, probably just Dindy senses, man.
Dindy knows
senses.
Everywhere.
Superhero. Let's talk briefly. I mean, you know, it was the one position Ramsey's on the Beastmaster. He's gone boots of travel, pretty typical stuff, gives him global presence with the Hawk. But the Void himself, the Void, you know, the other major core, and the one that initially coming out of the draft, you would eyeball and say that's probably going to be their one position. He's gone with the Blads, he's picked up the Yasha. We'll see what he wants to build out of that. How do you feel about the way they're going to scale into the late game? I mean, whenever you look on the other side, you're pretty much, you know, depending on your cores and the Invoker and the Nature's Prophet. Like, talk to me a little bit about the mid-game and late-game matchups you see out of those cores.
Well, I see one of two things, you know, kind of happening for kind of both sides. I'll touch on Na'Vi here for a little bit, whereas they have the Venge swap to save for the Beastmaster Roar, but they don't have it for Beastmaster Roar and the Faceless Void Chrono that I've been trying to talk about. So you're going to have to expend it on one of those. And then Na'Vi, they want to all be clumped up, and they have to be clumped up to get the team fights that they want and get on top of the heroes. That's where you can have these huge Faceless Void ultimates coming in from Afterlife. So Na'Vi, they have to be very cautious of how aggressive they play and their positioning, else I can see easy 3-man Chronos coming out from 4-man Chronos coming out from Afterlife.
Right. What about the fact that, I mean, they've got Scandal, I mean, and he's obviously the big damage dealer, the big right clicker. You know, he's got his Maelstrom, he's going to be doing a hell of a lot of damage output. But the fact that the Void, and you know, the Beastmaster is going to be backing off, I would imagine. Oh, hang on, General, found someone. That's Afterlife. Sunstrike's actually going to be off the mark. Doesn't matter. They're able to clean him up. There's going to be a Roar and a Seneko, but the follow-up not there. There's going to be a Death Ward swap from Artstyle. Is it enough? Seneko barely able to get out of range now. Artstyle just kind of running interference. There's going to be the boulder kick. King R ends up dropping. Great teleport in from Ditchira as he flanked them. And Empire now on the run. It's been a 2-for-2 exchange. Not as much as I think they would have liked to have gotten out of it, but now they've got eyes on Pashka. Do they have anything to knock him out?
Yeah,
yes!
Dindy.
Tornado just in time. So it'll be a 3-for-2 when all's said and done.
Really well played coming in. Picking off the Faceless Void first, not having that Chronosphere just talking about. And he had the option too, right? He's like, okay, who do I want? Do I want Faceless Void or do I want Beastmaster? And I think he made the right call there. And they were able to chain stun him down. And oh my god, Artstyle is like a monster. He has a Vanguard now. He has the Buckler. He didn't even die, it looked like, in that team fight.
No, he was literally just running interference,
like
running smack into the middle of the enemy. And it took him forever. And the great swap, Seneko barely able to make it to the low ground. And just a little bit of an odd fight there as Ramses blew his Roar very early on Seneko before he really had help. But Ditchira's teleport to the high ground really what turned that and made that an Na'Vi win.
So we're going to have to see if General can make these pickoffs, because that's kind of what this game stage is at right now. Who's going to make these big plays? And not that I was talking about. Nighttime's over. Now it's going to be a little bit easier, I want to say, for the Beastmaster's Hawk Vision to help out, maybe scout. You still have the Bounty Hunter scouting with track. It was just a really nice play coming in from Na'Vi with that smoke, with Nighttime, and General just doing General things. So
I just want to point out this Vengeful Spirit's level 11 and has 1,700 health.
It's just crazy.
Yeah, like what do you do? And you know, Magic Missile only 1 point into it, but Like, the build's interesting, I think, as well.
Oh yeah, I was about to talk on that too. Normally you see like Ags on Venge, maybe a Medallion, but no, I think this game is the perfect example of when you want to go for a Crimson Guard. I mean, it just helps out against the Necro Books, it helps against the Focus Fire, even against the, the buffed up Faceless Void. Obviously the magic damage comes from the time lock when he gets that, but all these right clicks is going to be negated by maybe this support Venge.
No, I mean, it's just a really brilliant way to approach it. And speaking of builds, how do you feel about the Manta on Afterlife's Void? It's not something you typically see on the way Void is played nowadays.
Yeah, you normally want to get a Manta style if you're like having a anti-mage with having mana burn or something, or trying to get out of an Orchid, and he's not benefiting from either of those. Like, so I don't like it personally, and I think he could have went something else. Blink Dagger is still very good on Faceless Void for the positioning. Time Walk, even though it got 6 pulled up.
Yep, there we go. Engagement. Sameko, they engage, gets magnetized off Empire, all clustered up. They do manage to get off the 2-man Chronosphere, and now Afterlife trying to find his target. Behind that General, eating a lot of damage. Finally, we do see the Crimson Guard deployed by Artstyle. Negates most of the damage output there possibly could be. It's a 2-for-1 exchange in favor of Na'Vi so far, and they do end up losing one more, as Artstyle caught from behind. Chasing him down to the low ground. Na'Vi's lost 3. Tornadoes there. Oh, great jump through, but the ice wall's enough to slow them down. Mapashka can't catch up in time. Artstyle not quite as fortunate. Artstyle will end up being brought down. That was a track kill, and they can't get Dindy either. Nonetheless, Dindy, the only survivor of that engagement from Na'Vi. There were at least one, if not multiple track kills involved there. Was a level 2 track as well for the Bounty Hunter, and yeah, that's a gigantic swing in gold and experience because of that track, my friend. 3,000 gold change, make it 8,000 overall experience change.
And that's just one of those situations where you're like, oh, well, we finally caught the Earth Spirit before he could do his full combo, and now with that Roche kill, or not with all those kills, they're going to be able to transition to Roche, but this is what we talked about. It's very slow. Could Na'Vi, essentially, they don't have a tier 2 tower in the bottom lane. They know what's going on. Scandal just showed up again. And looks like they're going to get it, but man, Na'Vi, now they have to think about, okay, how do we want to approach this? How are we going to approach them having Aegis? How do we want to approach it, them having superior vision around the map?
Well, the Bounty Hunter getting level 11 is such a big deal, man. The experience exchange between both teams was huge. It was about a 5,000 experience, 5,400 for Empire and 2,700 for Na'Vi. So there was a fair amount of experience changing hands, but just the gold difference it's going to make for Empire in specific. They've got to be so careful. They're just going to get run over and out-itemized.
And they also lost the gem. That's a very big key when you're going against a Beastmaster and a Bounty Hunter. Yep. You need to have the vision. You need to de-ward. You need to find out the Hawks too and try to kill them off. But not having a gem, need to see when that is going to come up. That's coming up in 3 minutes for Na'Vi. They should instantly buy it because they desperately need to take away the vision of Empire.
28 minutes in now, and the game beginning to feel like Empire's in the driver's seat. Na'Vi. Haven't really talked a ton about Dindy. I mean, his build is, I would say, not completely atypical. Correct me if I'm wrong there. Diffusal Blade now out on the Void. We'll come back to that, but so far as Dindy's items, he went Midas. He's got his Blink. He's got his Scepter, BKB. What's the next call for you? For him? Because at this point, I mean, they need him to stay alive in these fights. Like, and he did survive to the end of the last one, just wasn't enough. Does he go more survivability or more utility, or what do you think the approach is for him in particular?
Yeah, they have a lot of physical damage, so normally what you want to get is like Shiva's and AC. We might see an AC out from the Furion, and then maybe Invoker go for a Shiva's or something along the lines, but maybe Dindy wants to be flashy. Like, he's a flashy player. He might want to go for that Octarine Cord to reduce all of his cooldowns and try to just make a lot more plays with his spells.
I'm interested in the Diffusal as well. I mean, Diffusal, easy to understand. You want the mana burn, that's nice. It works really well with Manta, as you had said. You had pointed that out. That's usually the only time, one of the few times you really want to prioritize Manta the way the Void did. So, but overall, just a fun way to build Faceless Void. We'll see how effective it's going to be. They've got their initiators down here if they can find anyone. Yeah, looks like Na'Vi's going to pull back in time, though.
Yeah, 40 mana burn a pop going, and plus on the illusions too. It's It's a very big deal, especially in the Chronospheres. So I really like the item. I really like the Manta Sal now. Before, maybe not so much. Now I understand the purpose of it. He's transitioning nice. He has a lot of agility, honestly, because of these two. But can he survive? I want to make sure that he doesn't get picked off. Like we saw it one time when General got the lasso. He wasn't able to survive. They don't have the best saves as like a Venge swap. Oh, but
there's going to be Sprout on Miposhka. Afterlife and Ramses are there. Going to go ahead and spend just the, yep, they're going to finish off Digiraw. Yep, King Arn caught to the south of that as well. Unable to bring him down though, healing up. Artstyle going to be caught from behind with the cast. No follow-up. No, there will be a follow-up. Tornado there to try to stop a beautiful two-man shackle. There's going to be the spear. Only gets Seneko. Not that it matters, as they're going to clean up Artstyle, and then Seneko drops as well. Double kill overall for Afterlife, and Empire beginning to really look scary.
Yeah, Scandal's finally showing up, getting some good shackle shots. Also, this hero can be very underwhelming at times.
Yep.
And with the Aegis, with everything the Ags, you can now constantly siege down the towers. Oh boy, this is looking very grim for Na'Vi. They might lose a set here. Rax potentially. The only thing kind of stopping Empire is Scandal's mana pool right now. It's only sitting on 300.
It looks like he's not that worried about it. He's got an Aegis. He's going to stand and peck away. Afterlife deploys the Manta. There's Dindy in with the Tornado and the Meatball. And that'll be enough to clear them off the high ground momentarily. That should be enough to get everyone back up and fighting for Na'Vi. So mission accomplished. Only a little bit of damage done. 700 HP, 600 HP or so. But the last, I don't know, 5 minutes have really just been all about Empire. They went from trailing 2,500 gold to Na'Vi, which was the biggest lead in the game at that point, which is about 25 minutes in. And now they've built the largest lead in the game by a factor of 3, up to just shy of 7,500 gold advantage, and experience a big lead there as well. Despite that, though, Na'Vi continues to have 2 of the top 3 farmed heroes on the board. I mean, I guess you could just say split it with them, as the Beastmaster's right there with them. Dindy remains on top, though, 15K.
Yeah, but they need some other form of reliable lockdown, though, now for Na'Vi. Like, Hex is looking very good. Because it's all on General right now to really get these initiations. They find Miposhka, but juke the other way.
Yep, that's just bad luck. Miposhka was already heading in the other direction. Now he's going to turn up, spot it out. Oh no, he actually just threw it for vision. I was wondering if somebody had a gem or there was a Sentry I was missing. Instead, it was just a fortuitous toss of the Tornado that nonetheless, Miposhka is not going to sweat that much. So wasted smoke opportunity.
So now it's daytime once again here coming in. So this is going to be very hard for Na'Vi, I was talking about, to find things. And Miposhka is setting up a lot of these kills. Earlier, 4 minutes ago, setting up. Now it looks like they're setting up for top lane. Might have some rotations coming in. Afterlife.
Now would be the time. General just pulled back. Yeah, they're going to get here just at the right moment. There's the roar of Digiraw. Follow up there. Death Ward to secure the kill. And Dindy wisely gets the hell out of dodge as he's going to TP away. He's got 3,000 gold to spend. We'll see what he wants to end up spending it on. But that's a big kill. I mean, the way that the Furion is itemized, as opposed to going with, a complete utility approach, grabbing the mech or what have you, has instead gone drums and then added in the Dragon Lance and the Mjolnir. And they got a courier kill of their own. Didn't even see it happen, but they do manage to find the bat as well. And that's going to be, at this point, the game is just falling apart for Na'Vi.
I couldn't describe it any better myself, AC. It's just the last, I want to say, 8 minutes have been the Furion trying to split push and him getting picked off. Right. That's kind of the simple way to look at this, where they find him, they track him, they kill him, and then they just chase down the rest of the team because they're trying to save Ditya. So
Radiance pick up on the Void, that's fun.
Hey, Waga.
Yeah, your standard Manta into Diffusal into Radiance. And tier 3 will drop.
Radiant's middle tower has fallen.
Digiraw back on the board now. General's up at 15. It looks like they just want to continue to play this safe. Can't blame them at all.
Radiance is going to help out a lot too. With the extra evasion coming in for Na'Vi, nobody really wants to build the MKB. Nature Prophet maybe, but it's... I mean, Faceless Void can just, I feel like he just runs in, and then how do they kill him? They really need to have that Hex, or they need General to initiate, but it seems like if General initiates, as I'm talking about, then all you have to do is have, you know, Ramses blink in, roar. And he has a refresher now. A refresher on the Beastmaster. It's looking very grim for Na'Vi.
BKB is going to be coming out shortly for General. You know, doesn't help against Roar, but I don't know, anything to keep him up and alive. It seems like they've been doing a great job. Like, General's effect on the Bad Rider has been very muted this game. I just haven't felt the normal presence and fear that his Bad Rider would usually inspire. Would you agree?
Yeah, he's only had 1 or 2 good pickoffs, and I think you just constantly need to have more in this lineup. So it's also just Empire playing really good, and they're finding they're just using their heroes perfectly with the Vision, as always talking about, the Chronospheres, the Roars. They've all been on point, and all you have to do is, I feel like if you face this Void Chrono or Roar the ES and you kill him, that's all Na'Vi's, like, they're just done for, because you really need to have these silences in the team fight. You need to have the stun and the magnetize, and that's how we saw them win one of those team fights around Roche Pit, but it's not coming.
Well, you're in this weird tweener world where, like, Empire has itemized the Void in such a way that not only is his presence in these fights gigantic, but his damage output is actually quite high. Scandal, obviously, on the Wind Ranger is looking quite good with the Scepter and the Maelstrom. And even though it's more of a utility approach out of Ramses at this point, he's very, very tanky. His damage, you know, it's not so much the damage he does, but how much extra damage he provides with the Inner Beast. So, yeah, like, when I look at Na'Vi, I just see, you know, a Nature's Prophet who's gone right-click build, but they can't keep him alive. If he's caught at all, he's down, and then Dindy's gone with more of a utility approach. So
they have Jim on General. He's gonna get Afterlife here.
And here comes Scandal. The Roar's gonna be behind that, right on the Dindy. They followed up. Artstyle's down. There's gonna be the Chronosphere. Caught 2, and there's just no damage. No damage at all from Na'Vi. They lose 3. And only King R is the one that, I mean, King R barely touched in that. They couldn't even bring him down. A triple kill for Afterlife. And that may just about be the nail in the coffin, unless Na'Vi's able to pull off a miracle base hold at this point.
Yeah, if I was, I would just probably say GG at this point, too, if I was Na'Vi.
That's a 5K gold swing.
They're just not finding any ways to really initiate, too. That was a really nice play coming in from Scandal. Else they might have been able to chain stun on the Faceless Void, but yeah, they still don't even have the DPS. Buying back at this point is just going to cripple your item progression.
And you have to give Empire so much credit, man. Like, it's not just that they're itemized better and yes, they're ahead, whatever. Hang on, Tornado, it's actually going to catch 3, but they're just going to reset, I think. General lane breaks, knocks a couple back. They want to get something. Swap from Artstyle. Saneko got a 2-man magnetized off. He's trying to, this is just so broken up. Scandal's going to be force-stabbed out of the Sprout. Now Na'Vi's on the run, has got him on the run. Dindy and Artstyle leading the way. King R's right there, throws out the cast. BKB will prevent that. There's 3 down now from Empire. And Empire hanging around a bit too much, and really good counter play out of Na'Vi. They're going to run right to the Roche Pit and find the big guy standing firm.
Yeah, the big thing that's helped Empire so much is having 2 of the, you need to buy back for Empire. You can test this Roche. If you get this, you get the Aegis and you get the cheese. But they only have 1 buyback. Wind Ranger, there you go.
Up, there's a pick. Afterlife, lassoed, dragged into the pit. He's going to be force-staffed up. He actually mantas out and gets to the low ground. He hits a huge sphere and got 3. Are you kidding me? Ramses reinitiating, using the Roar, and in the meantime, it's a triple kill for Scandal. Saneko, the next to drop. He's tracked. He's down. What an absurd play. The Manta paying off in a big way, and they caught General too. Buyback from Saneko. That's the gem and a full 5-man wipe. But what in the world is Saneko going to do now? He's by himself, and in terms of buyback, none. No buybacks on the side of Na'Vi. I think that's GG, my friend.
Yeah, that could have been very bad for Empire if they didn't just immediately buy back, contest that Roche, and then they didn't kill the Faceless Void in time. And
he manted. When he manted, he popped the low ground.
I think they had an amazing force staff from somebody. I think it was force staff from Bounty Hunter that saved him. Such a great play coming in.
Oh my God.
Poshka saving his ally there. MVP of that last fight.
GG as the hometown heroes get popped in the nose by the boys up the street. Empire happy to take a game one, and what was a really interesting match, man. I mean, we saw some things, and I'd turn it to you and say, this void build, is this something that it happens a lot because I've kind of been out of the scene for a while, or